And yes, we want to welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. I'm Aaron Clements here with co-host David Clark.
Good morning.
And Jamie Bridges.
Good morning.
Yes, and we are here with you to drink some coffee and talk about cars because that's what we love. That's what we do. And we also are here to talk to you. If you have a call or a question about your car, your truck, your SUV, you give us a call, and we are here for you. Just give us a call, and it means a lot to us that you decided to join us. You can listen to us on your favorite station, or we play it. Well, of course, we play on 110 stations across the country, and including iHeartRadio. You can also watch the show at ccautoshow.com, and that feature comes from Kingdom Web Pros, and they can take your business to the next level.
And if they miss us, Aaron, they can always go back and watch it. So if you didn't get to see it this week, just get on the Facebook page.
That is true.
Go back and watch the show. Catch up on us.
Yeah, that's right.
That is absolutely true. Well, we had a tragic, something tragic happened last week. It was a very good friend of mine and someone that's very huge in the automotive industry, Aaron Stokes. He was involved in an airplane crash in Colorado yesterday, early in the morning yesterday. And Aaron Stokes was just a wonderful person for the automotive industry. He's done so many things, not only to help the automotive industry, but the people in the automotive industry. He was just plain good to others. He was helped them in so many ways, helped their families in so many ways, and he'll be missed greatly. Our prayers are with his family and the families of others that were on board the aircraft, and very sad situation. I knew him personally. He's a very good friend, and he is a person who helped the automotive industry a great deal. He believed in making sure that people took care of their customers that come into the door, and also did a good job repairing the vehicles and did a good job treating their team members good. And to me, that was something that was very important and close to my heart, because I believe I love the automotive industry, and I love it when people are taken care of really nicely, and he did a huge amount for the industry.
Yeah, I can tell you, I got on social media first thing this morning. I always do, kind of scroll through, see what's going on, and there was just an outpouring for this gentleman. I didn't personally know him, but his influence because our automotive, mechanical, and collision, we intersect at times, and
Yes.
this guy was getting such an outpouring from not only the collision side but the automotive side, and just the influence that he had on independent owners inside of the automotive industry. So definitely. Prayers out for his family.
He'll be missed, and the ripple effect of what he did for the automotive industry will go on for many, many generations to come, because he made a true impact on the automotive industry. Okay, well, how about a tech tip quiz?
Let's see it.
All right, we're going to lay a tech tip quiz on the table. Here it is. Johnny had a bad cold and received a do not drive letter in the mail. Why did they send him a do not drive letter?
Uh-oh.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I don't know what that is either.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if somebody
Do not
knows
drive.
the answer
Yeah.
to what happened there, give us a call, and the number is 800-224-9090. Also, if you have a question about your car, your truck, your SUV, that same number, 800-224-9090. Give us a call. All right, we'll talk about some news. Seems like Stellantis, the owner of Jeep and Chrysler, announced that it would be taking a butt whipping. That's my interpretation. The company said Friday that it would take charges totaling more than $26 billion, which the bulk of which consists of write-offs and cash payments for canceled EV products, as well as costs to resize its EV supply chain. Sounds like another casualty of the EV fiasco. Would that be a good word?
It could be.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be a fiasco.
Yeah, it could be.
Definitely big downfall. You even had Chris Farley came out yesterday from Ford and
Yeah.
just said the consumers have spoken to Ford that they are not buying EVs. They are
They
drowning
spoke up, huh?
in billions of
Yeah.
dollars lost
Well,
each quarter.
They all put their money on the wrong horse is what happened. I mean,
Well, I will say that I'm in touch with a lot of different fleets, and of course during that time a lot of them were experimenting. These are national companies. Were experimenting. Talked to one yesterday, and he mentioned to me that I asked him how the EVs that they bought did. This was a couple of years ago. He said, Aaron, he said they each have about 20,000 miles on them. And I said, wow, that's not many miles because these drive 100,000 miles and more
Yeah.
a year on their vans, delivery type stuff. And he said, yeah, they only got 20,000. I said, why? He said they're broke down. He said they stay in the shop. They never do. They never out there. So I thought about Jamie, and I thought I would put you on the spot, Jamie. Have you heard anything on the electric school buses?
the school buses, no. All right, so
Yeah.
there is a company called Proterra, and they make city buses. And so they pushed and pushed and pushed and sold all these city buses, and then they folded up and went out of business. So now all of these cities have these electric city buses. If they have problems, there's no parts available. So we've spent millions and millions and millions, or these cities did. Augusta doesn't have them, not the Proterra buses.
All right.
And then they're bricks. I mean, you can't buy parts. You can't do anything with them.
So
You
it
can't
sounds like
sell
they
'em.
took a butt whipping too.
Yeah, they dang sure did.
So what are they going to do with all these batteries now? And these EVs that are just sitting
I
there,
don't-
right? Like, how do you dispose of them? Like, the bus is no good. You can't do anything with it. It's just sitting there rotting.
Maybe you hook it up to the solar panels that are on the roof, and that's your battery bank. See,
Wow.
you got to repurpose.
There we go. Now we're thinking outside the box.
We don't throw away. We repurpose.
There you go.
Because
You know-
Then you
those
got to
are-
hope it doesn't catch on fire as you're driving it, right?
We don't talk about that part.
You know, it's kind of tempting to say we were right. I wouldn't say that though.
I mean,
I
but-
would never do that.
You know that for the city buses, you know they charge overnight and they go out in the morning, and they're it's intended that they stay out all day and run a full route. So that one's a little bit harder because they creep, they stop and go. The HVAC system is a huge drain if it's really hot, if it's really cold. But city bus or school buses do make more sense because they go out in the morning for a few hours. They come back, they can recharge through the main part of the day, and then they'll go back out in the afternoon for a couple hours and then recharge overnight. So that makes more sense. The effectiveness for them is better, but it's the same thing. The heat and the cold does impact their range.
I was going to say, so
And if it's
unless you live
hilly-
in New York, where there was a posting about the school bus where they couldn't run the heat in the bus,
Yeah,
it was sucking
yeah.
the battery down.
Well, I hate to say it. I don't think that make any sense either.
No,
I don't.
They have to be careful how they what bus they put on what route based on temperature and then elevation change and there's all these factors. So it's not just send this bus number whatever out and let it go. There's you can't do that with these. You have to be a little more careful, otherwise you got kids sitting on the side of the road or turn it into popsicles.
Pro EV bus.
School buses do make more sense. Now, as far as longevity and parts, and the biggest thing with these right now, who's going to work on them? Because they rolled these things out without enough technicians in place to maintain them.
Don't have enough technicians to fix the diesel trucks.
Well, that's the truth, but it's vastly worse on the EV side.
Yeah.
I mean, because I don't know anybody that works on these things.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
still think gas and diesel is the way to go right now. In the future, as things evolve, there's a chance that they may make sense. Right now, they make no sense to me. I just can't see it. Hey, let's take a slow ride and go over to the phone calls.
Let's do
How
it.
about that? And we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. And what can we help you with?
I was going to try to answer the tech tip quiz.
Be still. And yes, you are on stage. And the question was, Johnny had a bad cold and received a do not drive letter in the mail. Why did they send him do not drive letter? And what's the answer?
I believe it could probably be coincidental with a recall on the vehicle that he was driving, that they wanted to do some safety recalls on it, and they didn't want him to
Oh,
drive it.
what kind of vehicle would send a letter like that?
Something wrong with the airbag or something.
All right.
Could
Oh,
be
let's
any
see what the judges have to say
particular
about
airbag.
that one.
Thank you very much.
Oh, listen to that. They're going crazy. Yes. He had a cold, but that had nothing to do with the letter. I mean, they did send him a do not drive letter, but it was for his 2015 Dodge Charger. The FCA issued the do not drive letters because about 225,000 U.S. vehicles have not had the Dakota airbag recall performed, and the recall, if it's not performed, then if you are involved in an accident and that airbag does deploy, it pretty much don't deploy, it explodes. And when it explodes, the little canister that it's in, that some of the explosive stuff is in, the shrapnel from it can go into the driver and other people in the vehicle, and that's not good. So they're saying don't drive them. Now, it's kind of odd, though, for a lot of vehicles for all these years. They were saying they couldn't repair them, so they'd say go ahead and drive them. Now they're saying don't drive them. They may have just gotten to a certain age and saying, hey, we got to make sure we
can't fix it, but drive it anyway. Best of luck, buddy.
That's what was going on for a while there.
No.
But I guess they
Well,
got
that
that.
would be-
They've had something like 6 million of them
There's
that's
enough
been done.
lawsuits that came through. So
Yeah.
they
Yeah,
finally
that's
said,
what it
quit driving the
was.
car.
Yeah, they have repaired over 6 million of them. So now that they're down to 225, I guess they can say, hey, don't drive these until we get them repaired.
There you go.
So, okay, you are a winner, and we will I tell you what, we are not able to to transfer you into the other room right now. So I am going to get you to call back.
I can just write down his phone number.
Yeah. I don't think he wants to get the phone number over
Oh,
there.
no, I can see it on the
Oh,
on
shit.
the, I
Okay.
just write
It
it down.
doesn't.
Oh,
It doesn't matter.
that's the
Of course
reason.
it
I can
does.
give it to you.
See, you can tell Jamie is the brains of this place. She
Oh,
figured
my
that
gosh.
out. Yeah, she's got your phone number, and she will be giving you a call, and we'll make sure that we get you a prize package. And our producers, Mason Rogers and Ana Lopez and Trip Clark, they've been putting together a nice little prize package together for people, shirts and mugs, all kind of good stuff. So that'll be, let's just say it'll be in the mail. All right. Hey, we appreciate you calling us.
Appreciate your show.
Thank you. Okay, the number to call is 800-224-9090. If you got a question about your car, your truck, your SUV, all you got to do is give us a call. Probably the next thing that might be good to talk about has to do with the Toyota hybrids that we have. They have turned out to be nearly half of the vehicles Toyota builds now are hybrid. And it plans to build 30% more. And I got to admit, a lot of times I don't really see the complete benefit for hybrids because you're spending extra money to get a X amount of extra gas. And unless you drive a huge amount, it's really not as much benefit as you would think if you just do the math on it. But I will tell you, that Toyota, it is a beautiful piece of technology. If hybrids, Toyota nailed it. That's
Yeah,
all
they
you
did.
can say. Yeah.
The first couple of generations of the Prius were aesthetically not pleasing.
Kind of like the Cybertruck.
But yeah, oh no, you know what? That's a completely different thing. That refrigerator is awful. But the new Priuses, those things look awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I
Huh.
bought a Prius in the
Yeah.
early years, and my wife said that she said that car is ugly, and I said no.
They
I
were ugly.
I want to drive it because I want a piece of new technology. I want to learn how this thing works
Yeah.
so that we can work on these hybrids. And so I bought one, drove it, loved the car, it lasted a long, long time. Didn't have the power I wanted, but at the same time, it was a good vehicle. And I told her that it would grow on you. I said a lot of times something don't look good in the beginning. Now I got to admit that Cybertruck,
Nope,
it has
nope.
never grown on me.
So
Maybe like a wart, but other than that,
yeah, that's about right. But I mean, as far as this is the direction we should have gone. If
Yeah.
we were going to push towards electric, we should have gone more with hybrid instead of full on electric.
Well,
That makes
Toyota's the
more
only
sense.
hybrid I really
Yeah.
I like the most. Now Toyota knows how to build a good hybrid. The other ones are getting better, but Toyota right off the bat, I mean, they just built a beautiful vehicle when they built that hybrid as far as technology. But again, with the price of fuel right now, I mean, and still coming down, if you do the math on it, unless you drive a huge amount, you really don't save that much money
Right.
As far as offsetting. But
Well,
you might like the technology, and which I did. That's the reason I bought mine. So Toyota you'll be seeing more and more hybrids with the Toyotas,
Well,
which
I mean,
is fine.
fuel prices are so fluid, for lack of a better word. I mean, it goes up and down on a whim. So
Well, we're talking about all this new technology. I
Mhm.
hope if people aren't streaming in, they need to be streaming in, because if you see Aaron is struggling with this new prompter technology, he is about beat this keyboard to death this morning. So if you're not streaming right now, you need to stream in and watch this show.
I'm about to go get a hammer and hammer on the keyboard to make it work.
Chubb Auto Insurance, they came out and said, hey, we just had record profits again last year. We made $10.3 billion.
Wow.
I mean,
Allstate has come
That's
out
with
and
a
said,
B.
yeah, with a B. And so
Oh.
Allstate came out and said, hey, we are going to reduce our rates for our consumers. And Jamie's like, yes, I changed to Allstate, and I'm getting this huge savings. potentially.
I did. Well, from the company that I had before, I am saving money with Allstate.
There we go.
But so even if Allstate, their discount saves me 67 cents off of my next bill,
There you go.
it's
You're
still,
saving.
I'm still saving versus the other guy that I had for years.
I was reading, and again, I love, the insurance business, because that's what we deal with in collision. So, Allstate went from 2024, they made $4.6 billion. And in 2025, they made $10.2 billion. And they felt like they made so much profit, they were going to give it back, and they're going to help people like you, Jamie, and roll those rates back. And you know how much they're rolling it back by?
How much?
$7.8 million.
So they made $10 billion.
They
with
made
me.
$6 billion
And they're-
difference in a year.
and
They're going to
they're-
roll it back $7.8 million.
Oh, how generous!
Don't you feel
what
good?
What a reduction! What a reduction rate. They see. Oh, maybe it's $1.24 instead of 67 cents that I'll save.
And I hope this helps people understand when they walk into some of these shops and they deal with different folks. These are things that, as a consumer, like, you're buying insurance and you're looking at this stuff, and these companies are making tons and tons of money, and for the service level that you're getting back. Like, I hear it gets worse and worse every day from people that I talk to after they've been in an accident, or it's a total loss, or trying to get diminished value. Like, it is crazy. And then shops, there's insurance companies that are going around that have made tons of profit, that are going to shops now and saying, you've been charging us too much since COVID for your labor, and we are going to pay you less now per hour. Now, we understand that parts prices have gone up, and we understand that cost of living has gone up, and we understand that your materials have gone up, but you're charging us too much. So, and we're making record profits, but we're not going to pay you as much. And so that's becoming a struggle for shop owners across the country. And I don't know. It's unbelievable.
So the top earners, CEOs for the 10 largest insurance companies, received over $134 million in compensation in 2024.
They got to be hurting.
I know, what a hard life.
$34 million.
I have a
So
hard time dealing with that.
these are mostly
They're
but
probably living paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
I bet they
You
are.
have to
Ramen
cancel your
noodles
gym
and bologna every night.
membership with that.
That's just that just blows my
There's
mind.
probably a few perks that go along with that.
Just
too.
a few. You think they get
Yeah.
they get access to the private jets that the policyholders are paying for?
Yeah, lot of money involved there. I will mention though that I really feel like that one of the ways that the insurance companies have been able to increase profit is stories just like this. Federal Trade Commission finalized a 20-year order with General Motors on its own star unit, finding they collected and sold vehicle location and driving behavior data, but without proper consumer consent. There's so many ways that they can find out which drivers are driving good, which drivers are driving bad. And if you've got a company that says, I only want the good, and they put a device in your car, and you put a device in your car, and they find out, hey, this person is not as safe as we thought they were. Let's increase their rates until they leave us. so in other words, they lower the chances of being of having suits and having to pay for damages on vehicles and medical damages by learning how people drive, by information about people. So
I would be interested in seeing what their criteria for a safe driver even looks like. Like, how do you have absolutely zero infractions for?
Well, I don't think
a discount, huh?
It's a car that doesn't move.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, that's probably.
But that is
what
something
it is.
a lot of people do need to realize. When you're putting these devices on the car, it can be good and it can be bad. I mean, they're learning everything about where you go, what you do, how you drive. Even OnStar here, that information was being sold to different companies. You can bet some of it had to do with insurance companies.
Oh yeah, of course.
I think
how
this
a person drives.
The most important part about this one is what we hit on last week with Life 360, right? Like, it's your data, and it's being sold.
Yeah.
From OnStar, they didn't tell anybody about this. So before you go and put one of these devices in your car, or you get that thing to monitor what you're doing, read the small print and understand what they are getting from you that you're paying to give them, that they're going to turn around and sell, that could harm you. Right? Is it worth it?
What I did, I put one of those things in my car, but I paid somebody to drive it for me for a while.
Here's just get this
so
on
I could
down,
get better rates.
and then I'll ship it back.
Yeah, it worked. They gave me a reduction, and then I took the device out and drove it myself.
Aaron bought one and put it out here in the shop.
Just let it sit.
One of the loaners that's just sitting over there on the side.
I found one of our safe drivers around the shop to get it for me to drive my car.
The 80-year-old woman.
We swapped drivers for a week. We swapped cars. I borrowed this. Okay, let's talk about the cross-check.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Oh, there was an engine seized moments after startup when a shop rag was left inside an intake track of a vehicle. Now, I don't know what location or what shop this was at, or even what city that it was in, but that information was on the internet. But I thought about it, that if that person would have just had a cross-check method, and that's what we use here at our locations, has to do with a cross-check, to where every vehicle, during the work process, the vehicle is checked by another person. And it's worked out really good for us. And so it gave me a chance to mention the cross-check method book, which is you can get it on Amazon or Kindle or all that good stuff. But also you can go to cross-check.us and get the cross-check book. It's been good for us, and I feel like it could help others.
Yeah, if you keep you from sucking a rag through a turbo, then
yes.
there you go.
And that's part of the cross-check method. If you're starting to put an intake manifold back on, a person has to call for a cross-check. The cross-check, the other person comes over and looks down the little holes of the vehicle, of the intake manifold, make sure that everything's clear, and says, yes, it's ready to go back on. So that is part of it. And I will mention, in the automotive field, now the cross-check can be used in personal lives. It can be used when you're working on vehicles, when you're we have a transmission shop that's using it now. There's been several collision repair shops using it. But in the automotive repair side of it, it takes 3 minutes per vehicle to do, and it does not increase overhead, and it will eliminate all catastrophic issues. 3 minutes per car. So most people love it.
Well, I mean, it's you don't realize those catastrophic events, right? And what that is. And when people hear catastrophic, they think like again a car burns to the ground or something happens or something like this rag that got sucked in there. But it can be as simple as not having to take the car back apart.
Yes.
Right. Like
yeah. Well, that's how
because
many
you're
labor
going to
hours are you
you're
wasting?
going to check the car. You're going to check it after you put it together, and something's not working. Now I got to tear it all the way back apart. Well, that's a catastrophic event because now you've got to stop all of production to go and try and figure out what didn't you do right the first time.
Yeah.
Right. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's definitely it works. More shops need it. I think is the car complexity continues to get it increases. That these checks need to be done throughout the entire process.
Yeah.
So, and Aaron, we have a caller.
Yes, we do. Let's go to the phone calls. And we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
Well, good morning. I'm enjoying the show again.
All right, fantastic.
Just a little quick note. One of my grandsons is turning. Well, he got his learner's permit, but I found out that in South Carolina, a 15-and-a-half-year-old can drive by themselves, and I don't think that's a good idea at all.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I remember when I was 15, I was driving in South Carolina.
I was shocked. Back in Florida when I was a kid, kids could drive farm equipment during daylight hours, like tractors and flatbed trucks and that type of thing. But putting a kid on the road at 15-and-a-half by themselves, I may not even go back to South Carolina anymore.
Well, I think I was able to. I mean, you get your regular driver's license at 16, don't you?
Yeah.
I mean, you learner's
Right.
permit at 15, and so you're talking 6 months early. I don't think that'll be that terrible.
I remember when I started driving, right? But I don't feel like the traffic was as heavy as it is now. When I was driving around here, I would be concerned like this gentleman is. I got a daughter that's 13 now. When she turns 15, I'm not letting her loose in a car. There's no way.
Well, John, also, if he's already driving, I think that's really a good thing because you run into some kids now that don't really care that much about a driver's license. I mean, years ago, the second that we were able to walk into there and at least get a learner's permit, boom, we were there. And the minute we could get a driver's license, we were there. But now there's some kids that they would rather drive the race cars on the video game and not even care that much about an actual car.
Yeah.
And so I think
You're exactly right. I have one grandson that could care less if he got a license. He didn't get his learner's permit until he was about 16-and-a-half.
Yeah.
Yeah, my parents, they, when it's time for me to get my license, I became free shop labor.
Yeah.
I could run and go pick up parts, and I could go tow a car. So that's what I did.
Yeah, I don't think 15-and-a-half is that bad. I'm okay with it. I wouldn't go much younger than that, but probably 15-and-a-half. I'd let them out, but I would try to keep that person off like interstates and really busy roads.
There are stipulations. The way that it's written, it says they must be 15 years and 180 days old. So there's your half. But it's between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. or 8 p.m. during daylight savings. So only during daylight.
I think that's reasonable. Yeah, I don't have a problem
the passengers.
Well, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, so they're not out driving at night.
Hey, well, thank you so much.
John, we appreciate it. Thank you for calling, and thank you for the great comment, too. Bye-bye. Okay, the number to call is 800-224-9090. If you got a question about your car, your truck, your SUV, you give us a call. And this is a question that I have. Is Tesla is got a lot of recalls going on.
Well, they just about everybody recalls.
Well,
most of their stuff
the question
nowadays.
is, are they less reliable? Or here's the other side of the equation. Is there a chance that they're just trying to fix more problems before the customer finds out about them and they're bringing them in? In other words, fixing more, willing to say, hey, let's repair this or let's take care of this.
You know
So,
what?
and that's what they're saying.
That
they're
sounds like
doing.
fear of lawsuits. They're trying to head it off
Mhm.
instead of I would play it more that way than just out of the goodness of their heart. They're gonna fix this. I don't think it's that way.
So you don't think it's that way, Jamie? You don't
No,
think they're just really trying to
absolutely not.
problem solve?
They're trying to
for-
cover
Uh-huh.
their butt.
Oh,
Is what
really?
they're doing. Not be
They're-
nice to
They're
people.
testing stuff on cars that they're trying to make sure will work on SpaceX.
Yeah, that's
What it is.
they're gonna launch them into space.
But a lot of the Tesla issues that people have, a large number of them can be solved over the air. They
Right.
just issue an update that goes to all the vehicles, and the people never even have to bring the vehicle into the
Well,
the
Edwin,
shop.
Edwin we had on a couple of weeks ago, he was a mobile tech in Atlanta, and that's all he spent his day doing was running around fixing things on Teslas all throughout Atlanta. So he's a pro Tesla guy. He even has a Tesla. Like he loves them, and I think they are no different than some of your other brands, right? Like you take enthusiasts for BMW, like you couldn't say a bad thing about a BMW, and they love them, right? And you got a lot of Euro models like that. You got some. I mean, I had a lady call me this week with a Chevy Suburban, and she was telling me about the Facebook group for Chevy people and how much. Do you know how much Chevy lovers love Chevy? And I was like, well, good, all right. So I think there are folks that with Tesla that they just love Tesla. You couldn't say anything bad about it.
And I can see where some people would love it. I mean, if it fit your driving habits, to me they're great technology, and I love technology. Now, I do look at things that they're doing could be improved upon.
Yeah.
I don't like just one computer screen sitting there like that, like a
Do
tablet.
you want to be surrounded by monitors?
I want some knobs, and I want some buttons,
okay.
and I want some
All right.
gauges. I want more than just a tablet sitting there. I want a car that kind of screams
Feels like
technology. Yeah, feels like
Yeah.
a car. I mean, you could. I mean, it's going. You could, if you wanted to, not even have the little tablet up on the dash and just have one laying on your lap if you want to. I mean, instead of
They're talking about distracted driving. You're looking down at your legs.
I like to actually feel the knob and be able to turn
Just
a
crank
knob
the
sometimes.
volume all the way up.
Yeah, and a lever.
Instead of pressing the button.
hear the switch when it clicks a little bit. Things like that.
Well, they could program him a click noise when you
Now,
know.
I do love the tablet. But when you got your main things need to be accessible really quick. And sometimes on a tablet, you have to go through a screen. It's like my keyboard's doing here with this.
Yeah, that's got buttons on it. He is beating it to death this morning. It's not touchscreen.
That poor keyboard.
Yeah, me and this thing is not getting along.
I'm going to be interested to see what Tesla does over the next couple of years. Now that they're reducing the models that they're building, right? Are they able to focus in and really build
Improve
something
those,
extraordinary on the EV market? EV is getting crushed. I mean, we have talked about it. Will they then turn the corner with EV a little bit and bring something over the next couple of years? So I always love challenges. I think Elon is up for a challenge. Like he loves to be told he can't do something and figure out a way to do it just to prove you wrong and kind of laugh at you. So
I mean, there's being there. I guess he's the richest man in the world now.
It's not going to bother him
without any monetary constraints. Yeah, I mean, really.
Exactly. So, like, what does he challenge and what does he take it to the next level and do? Like, look at what he's done with space, with NASA and stuff, and how the rockets are built now because of what Elon did.
Yeah.
Right. So,
but I will say that China, they proposed new regulations requiring physical buttons for essential car functions like indicators and gears, and they are moving away from the screens. Now, I wonder if the U.S. may do the same thing. I think that if the U.S. does it, it won't be because of a law. I think it'll be more because of consumer demand.
Yeah.
Consumer will just kind of go toward that. But China's also banning hidden door handles on cars.
Good.
There's been problems with electronic doors that fail to open, and of course we've run into that here in the U.S.
Oh, yeah.
Door handles not opening. So I think there should be a way to safely open a door handle.
Yeah.
oh, absolutely.
If something goes wrong, so people won't get locked inside their vehicle like that. So it's kind of weird to see some of the laws. I don't know why we're all of a sudden seeing some of the laws that are being proposed in China. But at the same time, they kind of align with some of the things that may, not necessarily laws, but some of the things that'll be happening here.
Well, we talked about some of the stuff in the UK that they were bringing back more buttons, right? I think some of the Mercedes and different things, they were getting away from the touch screens, and this was a couple months ago. So I think there's a huge push from consumers. They're tired of some of these screens, and they want to see some buttons. So
we will lay a tech tip quiz on the table because this thing is terrible. I had it working, but now all of a sudden it quit. All right, here we go. We do have a tech tip quiz, and if you're the winner, you will be bestowed with the tech tip quiz honorary title, tech tip quiz winner, and that's a pretty huge deal actually to go through. So here we go. We got Johnny's Ford was running lean. He used his e-cigarette to find the problem. How did he find the problem with an e-cigarette? If you know the answer, give us a call, 800-224-9090. Give us a call, and we are ready for you, and we're going to operate on this thing here. Let's talk a little bit about the driver assist deal. It seems like a lot of people loved it, but it seems like a lot of people starting to turn their driver assist off a little bit because the lines on the road may not necessarily be painted as well as they should, and it's having a little bit difficult time.
So I will say my wife absolutely despises her Honda lane keep assist in her car. She turns it off, because it gets you on the line, it'll shoot you back over, and depending on how sober that person was as they were putting down the lines in the road in the middle of the night, depends on how straight they are, right? So she turns it off. For me, I like it because it does keep me in my lane. So when I am distracted and I am looking down, texting on my phone as I'm going down the road, it keeps me from going in the other lane or off the side of the road. So I like it. I hear folks. I definitely there is definitely a love-hate relationship there as we're talking about Valentine's Day, that you either love it or you hate it. But it is very important. So when you're doing the calibrations, that the shop does have to find a road with really clean markings on the road in order for that car to recalibrate as you're driving it and doing a dynamic calibration. So.
Well, I think the oh no!
Have you ever watched a TV show and they're somewhere in Europe, like what is the one with Jeremy Clarkson? But when they come up to pedestrian zone, they have the zigzag lines in the road.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that thing going through there?
Well, we love it in Little League Baseball when they put the chalk line down.
Yeah.
And you can tell when somebody doesn't really know what they're doing because they take like the wide swing out on first base. And it's not a straight line.
Yeah.
And then the kids are trying to follow the line as you're telling them, and you're watching them turn. And it's like, what are you doing?
Ready to go to the calls?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. And we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. And what can we help you with?
Well, I haven't taken a stab at a tech tip quiz in quite a while, so I think you're about time for a wrong answer from me.
All right. Well, that
Jim
is fantastic. Hey, this is Jim Pate, and I want to say thank you, Jim, for giving some content to the show. You send me articles from time to time having to do with different things, and I appreciate that very much. Very interesting stuff.
Well, sure.
Thank you.
Well, I'm glad you find it of use.
I do. Okay, let me put you on stage. Okay, let's see what we got here.
I gotta get my sunglasses.
Yeah, definitely take the sunglasses off. And here we go. Johnny's Ford was running lean. He used his e-cigarette to find the problem. How did he find the problem with an e-cigarette, if you know the answer? And Jim, let's find out if you know the answer. All eyes are on you. What is it?
This tech tip quiz smells like it might even apply to a guy like me who drives older stuff, getting older all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems to me that man had a vacuum leak, or suspected he did, and he used that e-cigarette, which is a very thick cloud of smoke, not because I have any personal experience, but I've seen them driving behind cars. And then using that, if you were careful about how you use that byproduct of e-cigarettes, that smoke, in and around where you think you might have a vacuum leak, which would cause a lean condition, by the way, that you might see that e-smoke being sucked into that PCV circuit, brake booster circuit, something around. If it was an older car with a Ford, could have been a carbureted version where you could have a leak between the base of the carburetor and the intake manifold, any number of places. And that's what the e-smoke was going to do.
Oh, you would see it being sucked into that spot?
Yep.
All right. What's another way that you could do that? I mean, what would happen if you were to blow it?
Right. Well, I guess you could use the inverse of where your negative pressure would be. If your negative pressure would become the atmosphere, and you try to pressurize a circuit that you're pretty sure you found the one, you're not real sure, but you want to make sure, then you, instead of making the negative pressure within the hose, the tube, or the structure on the engine, you now pressurize it with e-smoke. But then, of course, you might have to do lipstick.
You're absolutely right. Yeah, as a matter of fact, most shops have a smoke machine that we use to diagnose problems with vehicles, because a lot of times somebody may have heard of an evap code. An evap code, the evap system on a vehicle pulls the vapors that are inside the gas tank, and they pull them into a charcoal canister, and then at certain times the engine will open a valve and let those vapors go in and burn. Well, if you have an evap leak, it causes the check engine light to come on, and you have to find out where that leak is. So this smoke machine, we put the smoke in there under a certain amount of pressure, 2 or 3 psi, and wherever the smoke comes out is where the leak is. But we also use it for intake manifold leaks, vacuum hose leaks, things like that. We pump it into the intake manifold, and wherever we see the smoke come out, we know that it might be a gasket on the intake. This Ford was actually an intake manifold gasket that was leaking, and we had and he was able to find it by blowing the vape inside there and seeing it coming out. So it worked, and the smoke machine was evidently broken, or either he didn't have one. So
maybe he didn't feel like walking across the shop.
Yeah, he didn't want to walk across the shop. He wanted to have it. But Jim, you are a winner, and congratulations on winning the tech tip quiz.
The only thing you got to be careful about that method is you could end up with some black lipstick he hadn't counted on. Depends upon what he uses it on.
That is true.
He's already inhaling it. It's coming from his lungs. But anyway, had a good experience last week when I decided it was time to go through my vehicle service history. And I've pauled through my invoices and so forth, and it seems like it's a good thing to do, because I realized that I was overdue on a couple of things, and I thought I was on top of all my stuff, but I went into a huddle with as one of your shops here in Aiken. We went through the list, and you don't need this, you do need this. We'll check this because we're not sure, and it's good to go through and have things looked at you also before you get your big summer driving season started. Right after you finish setting up your lawnmowers and stuff for the growing season, do like that commercial I heard a little bit ago. Take that car of yours in for a little TLC. On Valentine's Day week here.
Yeah, get it ready. And we appreciate that very much, too.
What did President Trump do this week, Aaron? I know you've been waiting to ask Jamie this question.
I do want to ask her that question. That is something that I have thought about. It seems that President Trump's Environmental Protection Agency has officially repealed the 2009 endangerment finding that allowed federal greenhouse gases and vehicle emissions limits. And that will bring down the price of vehicles. It'll lower the standards, lower a lot of hoops that people have to go through when they're trying to produce energy, things to do with energy, and that includes oil and coal. I think that they needed to ease up on some of those restrictions. I mean, because we want the new technology to come out, and when you're so tied up in some of those laws, I really feel like a lot of them were put into effect to force people into EVs to start with. And I think that there's so much more technology that we could get out of the gasoline and diesel engines and just internal combustion engines in general, and have the clean air because they basically burn pretty doggone clean now. But I think there's so much more we can still do, and that would have stifled a lot of that technology. What do you think, Jamie?
I mean, first off, I like breathing clean air. So so if you read more into how the repeal worked, so it is for greenhouse gases, which is more, plants, refineries, things of that nature. So it's not really doing anything yet for, on highway vehicle emissions. So everything was in place for NOx, nitrous oxide, soot, carbon, any of that stuff is still in place for now. But I don't.
So I've got two slogans right now. I've got, make America more affordable again over here with Aaron.
Okay, I'm on board with that one.
And then I've got you over here saying,
I like
make
clean air.
America unclean again. Is what I hear.
So no, I mean, okay, so there's got to be a happy median, right?
Let's find the in between here.
There, you cannot go around rolling coal, straight piping everything. I mean, if you remember what LA looked like, or New York, or Atlanta in the 70s and 80s with the smog from the vehicle emissions, why would we want to go back to that? That's not doing any of us any good unless we want to grow tumors and, go back. That's
like
not
Total Recall.
Yeah, that's that's going the wrong direction. So we do need some kind of emissions controls.
And I do agree with that. I think that the vehicles now that they have all the additions that they put on there, like catalytic converter, particulate filters, DEF, a lot of the things that they have on vehicles has turned out to be good. I think a lot of that part of it, as far as what was done with diesels, could have been done a little bit slower. I think it was enacted in a way to where it caused a lot of companies to have major issues for obvious reasons, especially mini diesel trucks. But I think the technology has reached a point to where it's doing much better. But I think that but I think a lot of the laws that they put into effect during that era that he eliminated was put into effect purely to say, let's force everybody to drive EV cars. And I think that rolling them back was a good thing, and bringing the price down, moving a little bit slower when you enact these to make it to where companies that are in business can stay in business.
Well, see,
and I'm going to get beside you on this, Jamie, because I
you
think
also enjoy clean air.
I do enjoy clean air, but I feel like we're always either so far this way or we're so far that way,
and
there's
to be
never
a
a
middle
meet,
ground.
right? But I want to give credit where credit's due. Like, I think engines and things and what we've done with fuel has gotten so much better because we had to.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so when you take all that off now, does that innovation continue to grow, or does
No.
it say, hey, we knew we could make it cheaper, and now we're going to go back to the way we were doing it?
That's what's
So
going to happen.
I think that's my fear point with it. So I can kind of align with you on that to, and to Aaron, like, I know engines, like you say all the time, like, we are in a better position today than we were years ago, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Engines run better. We produce better fuel. But was that done because of what regulations they were under? And now
Yeah.
when you cut that loose, does that innovation continue on?
We're going to go back to 1980 LA.
Right,
And a
so
cloud of smog.
I think you got a valid point there. Like, is that are we going to go backwards? Are we going to see?
If you're looking at it that way, though, you're saying that the EV cars, I mean, we moved in the direction of EV, saying, everybody must, we're going to lower the standards down to zero. You pretty much have to have a standard that is set so low that the only way to achieve it would have been with EV cars. Well, a lot of that had to be rolled back because it was putting a lot of people out of business. People didn't want the cars. They were pretty much being forced to buy them. And so it had to be. So And a lot of what he rolled back is along those same lines. It was things that was in some ways not achievable, and if it was achievable, it would drive the price of a U.S. vehicle up so high that people wouldn't have been able to afford it. So something had to be rolled back.
So does this again now saying like it was pushing everybody to go EV, right? Now that this has been backed off, does it call? And we've talked about how bad EVs have been in production and problems and stuff. Does this now cause EVs to get a lot better? Because they've got to compete with other cars, right?
Yes.
Like so, you could have it could be a good cross path to it.
Competition,
right?
Might make it to where now the EVs will say, well, if we're going to compete with the internal combustion engine, we have to get better. Okay, let's go to the calls, and here we go. We do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
Yeah, I got a 2012 GMC Denali. I have a full bundle package HSP, delete system. I fully deleted everything, straight exhaust, everything. I done a CP3 fleece conversion kit, get rid of CP4, and I put clean tunes on my truck. I roll no coal whatsoever. I mean, if I shower down on as hard as I can, you barely see a puff of smoke of any kind coming out of it. But the problem is the regulation of young bucks out there, they are putting unclean tunes on there, and they're causing the problem with the EPA.
Yeah.
Because my system is for longevity and performance is not the issue as much as is the I want a good durable engine that's going to last me 500,000 miles or more with no problems. But I understand the problem is the people who do not care about the environment. They do not care about blowing all that smoke, and they're causing the attention and causing the problems for us who just want a good running engine.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's right because you're not going to, if you're out there acting a fool and rolling coal and blowing smoke onto the Prius that's parked next to you or sitting next to you at the red light and just in general being a jerk, then of course that's going to, it's going to hit the internet because everybody records everything nowadays. It's going to become viral, and then it's going to become a talking point on the political stage. And then once it gets there, everybody gets riled up, and then it becomes a problem. So if you're doing a delete and a tune the right way, and you're not rolling coal everywhere, I mean your emissions out of your tailpipe are still higher than they would have been with the DPF DOC on there, but it's still not as bad as what these hooligans are out there doing, just rolling coal everywhere. So.
And what year model did you say this was?
My engine.
It's 2012.
Mine's a 2012.
Oh, okay. All right. Sounds good.
But I actually had an issue with the CP4 going out. But before the CP4 went out, I got scared and I put a CP4 saver medium valve to meter the fuel in. It my mechanic said it saved my engine when my CP4 went out. So
yes.
But I was scared of that, and I thank God I went ahead and done that before the CP4 Act, because it wound up cost me $4,000 instead of winding up cost me 12, 13 to 15 grand.
Yeah, that was a good save then.
Yes. All right. Well, I appreciate y'all's time. Thank you.
Great comment. Thank you, and we appreciate the call. Okay, the number to call, 800-224-9090. And there are better ways to do that. I want to warn everybody, though, on kits like this, these tune kits and things like this, doing it, you have to be very careful, because if that vehicle is supposed to have any kind of emission control testing done, and that's in your area, you would not be able to move it through there like that.
Pass, yeah.
And also, if a vehicle, now of course with that year model that wouldn't be a problem, but if you have a vehicle that's covered under any kind of warranty and you make anything changes like that to it, your warranty's pretty much gone. So just be careful if you do things like that. But if you do it the right way, because I will tell you, Jamie and I is on the same, and all of us are on the same side on that. We all do want clean air.
Yeah.
It's just how to go about it. To me, I like the side of it to where you have as little government intervention as possible and give people room to come up with innovations that they can do and experiment with different things. If you make the regulations too heavy, people's not able to do that. They say, well, it would take 20 years to be able to find out if we can put this on the market, so it's not worth even trying.
Well, with these diesel deletes, so not only do you void any warranty that you have, extended or otherwise, because especially with newer stuff now, these warranties are getting pretty dang good. But you will not be able to take it back to the dealership for any issue that you have. So you're going to have to find a smaller independent repair facility to do your repair. Because as a dealership, if I plug into that truck and run a health report and I see that all your emission stuff is reading all over the place, I cannot touch your truck. Like, I'm going to pull it back outside and tell you to come get it because we can't.
And I do want to bring up one other thing, and this is even if you're purchasing a used vehicle and thinking about getting an extended warranty. If you get an extended warranty, and let's say that you purchase it and you purchase the extended warranty with a vehicle and you're driving the vehicle, transmission goes out, engine goes out, or something big happens, and that warranty company looks at it, even if you bought the vehicle with that on there and you bought the extended warranty, that extended warranty, there's a chance that they will look at that and they'll say, no, that's not covered because this vehicle has had modifications done. And that is, in general, what a lot of people need to look at, even tire size, delete kits, anything to do with emissions, anything to do with modifications on a vehicle, even some like adding certain lighting on. You need to find out if your extended warranty would cover items with that modification on there.
And I think that if you're buying a used car, right, and you're not familiar with all these things, I think that's another big, hey, I need to get a pre-purchase inspection done so I can get a professional to look at it to make sure that I'm not going to have all these problems, as a consumer, because a lot of people don't know about this stuff. So,
well, I mean, would you rather spend a couple $100s on a pre-purchase inspection, or would you rather waste, $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 on a used car that the engine blows up in 3 days after you buy it?
And if you're purchasing a car and it's got something like that extended warranty, and let's say it's got some add-on lights or add-on this, have them sign the paperwork saying that they know that was already on there and you're purchasing the warranty with that on there so that you would be covered.
So with the additional lights, so with everything in a vehicle now, everything is computerized, so you have a certain amount of resistance in the circuit that the car expects, the computer expects. So when you add all this extra stuff on there, then you change those parameters, and then the computer doesn't know what's going on.
Well, that part's true, but also you have some, this is not all of them, but some extended warranties are looking for a reason to say, no, we won't cover this. Let's say the computer goes out, and that light might not even be hooked to any circuit whatsoever that has to do with the computer, but they're able to come in and say, no, this car's had added on lights. That's not a factory equipment. That's not covered. And so, boom, you're out in the cold. So
there's some of the ADAS system that work off of the lights in the car, and there's becoming more and more instances where these aftermarket lights are causing these ADAS systems not to work properly.
Yeah.
And so any modification is, again, we talk about the sophistication of the car continues to get more and more complex. These modifications affect how the car is designed to operate. And so you just got to know what modifications you're doing to the car.
Yeah.
And what you could potentially cause issues with.
Yeah. Just be real careful with that type stuff when you get it. And with things like extended warranties, know what's covered, know what's not covered, do some research on what you're getting, and also be very careful what you do to a newer vehicle that might have some type of warranty. Because unfortunately, there are some with so much technology on the vehicles now. They do have engines that are newer engines that internal components can go out. You can have lifters, you can have cams, transmissions. You can have there are 8, 9, 10 speed transmissions now, and they can have problems under that warranty period. And you want to try to make sure that you would be covered if something did come up.
Yep. Cover your butt.
Cover. Oh, I like that. But don't go butt wild.
Leave it to Jamie.
Cover your butt.
We have got to talk about the autonomous Tesla and the Waymo.
Yes, we do.
Head.
But let's go to the calls first.
Oh, we got a call.
Yeah, we'll go to the calls first. Okay, and we do welcome you to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
Thanks for taking my call, first of all, Aaron. I had a quick question. Have a 2008 GMC Sierra 1500 5.3 liter. I was going to pull the throttle body and clean it. Been having some rough idle, but I've read some cautions about having to reteach it after you reinstall it. Is that something I need to be concerned about?
In most cases, you do. Now, it'll adapt on its own after a period of time of driving. Make sure that you have the key off before you disconnect anything on the throttle body, and use a cleaner that's designed for throttle body cleaning, and use a soft rag, microfibers preferred, and put it back on. And you may notice some unusual driving at first if you don't have a method set of reteaching the throttle body or resetting the throttle body. We do it with the computer. On that model, I don't know if there's a way to manually do that without hooking it to a diagnostic computer first. But even if you can't, after you drive it for a period of time, it would get its memory back. So I believe you'll be okay to go ahead and pull it off, clean it, and put it back on.
Okay, that's perfect. I was hesitant because I've replaced them before on other cars and didn't have any issues, but I read some precautions on this, and I did see where you can buy like an $80 tool that Dorman makes that will help reteach that, I guess you'd call it home or idle position for the plate.
Yes.
But you think just driving it should help it find its home position again?
It will. It will do it on its own after a period of time. It may feel unusual in the beginning, but after it's driven for a period of time, all of that memory should come back.
Okay, buddy. Hey, I appreciate it. Really enjoy the show. Learn something every time I listen to it. And thank y'all for taking my call.
Oh, we
Yes,
appreciate
sir.
that. Very nice of you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you.
Number to call, 800-224-9090. And let's talk a little bit about that Tesla Waymo deal that you were talking about
Jamie
there.
is online, and she has found the video.
Oh, she
was
did.
that the right video?
It looked like
Okay.
the video.
All right. It was the autonomous taxi versus autonomous taxi is what it was, really.
Uh-huh.
But I mean,
Tell us about it, Aaron. Aaron's looked up the story.
there we go.
He
All
loves
right.
it.
Because all I did was
what
watch
it
the
amounts
video.
to, I don't think it was a big deal. If it would have been two regular drivers, it never would have even come close to making the news or anybody would have thought about it. But what it amounts to is it was a Tesla robo-taxi nearly collided with a Waymo vehicle. And of course, neither one of those vehicles had drivers inside. All right, so you had that. And that's not a major big issue, just a little unusual. But then all of this stuff happened kind of recently. In Phoenix, Arizona, a passenger jumped out of a Waymo because it stopped on a light rail truck, one of these little trains that carry people throughout the city. It was just sitting on the track and wouldn't move, and they pretty sure it was because there was some construction going on right around in that area, and the Waymo got confused. Well, the driver was sitting there, and trains were on the track right next to it, and then the Waymo, it just froze. I mean, and it was sitting on the track. There wasn't any train on that track at the moment.
Yeah.
But they were all around him, and he jumped out, which I don't blame him.
No,
I mean,
I don't want to get
you
hit
don't
by
know
a
what's
train
going
either.
on.
Abandon Waymo.
Now,
Every man for themselves.
here's the part I added to the story that it's not right away, but all this is to come. The humanoids showed up to direct traffic in the right citations, and
You talking about the iRobots?
yeah,
The robots, iRobots.
but the Waymo left the scene before they got there. Now I made up the part about the humanoids. Now I will tell you that's coming. I mean, because eventually they will show up and they will direct traffic and get everything out of the way.
Well, I mean, robotics is just mind blowing. If you watch some of these videos, those little dog looking things,
Yeah.
and then the humanoid
We're,
looking
Oh,
ones.
we're getting
It's-
closer to back to.
Now
Back
the
to the
Waymo
Future.
really did leave though. The Waymo took
Yeah.
off.
So he got out, and it's just like, bye, buddy, and then just left him standing there.
Yeah, left the man standing there, and
Still
the
charged
Waymo
him.
was gone.
Yeah, still charged him. Showed up at his destination and nothing
Yeah, you're
happened.
getting charged for that one.
But yeah, humanoids are getting big stuff now. They're using those in the new Hyundai factory down near Savannah. They're using those, experimenting with them, moving a lot of stuff around,
Yeah,
which
they-
a lot of
they-
factories are doing that.
They lost all their workers down there.
Well, yeah, they have replaced them with robots.
Yeah, that was an issue. Ready to go to the calls? Here we go. And let's go over to Daniel. Welcome to the C&C Auto Show. What can we help with?
Hi, guys. Yeah, I need some help. I've got a 2008 Chevy Suburban, and in the mornings when it's cold, like it has been lately, the cruise control won't work until the vehicle warms up. I was curious whether that's electrical or maybe vacuum or why that is, because it's kind of a pain in the you-know-what.
I'm not sure if there's anything in the computer strategy that determines whether it has to warm up. Does the vehicle seem to come up to operating temperature reasonably quick, like within a few minutes?
Yeah, that seems normal, and that's one of the first things. But as it warms up, 4 or 5 miles out on the road, maybe a little longer. Sometimes the colder it is, it takes longer, all the way from Aiken to Augusta, for example. Then the cruise control will come on just about the time I don't need it anymore.
Okay.
So, 10 miles, and it warms up to straight up 210.
Okay. 10 miles does seem a little long. I'm wondering if you may have a thermostat issue that might be making that vehicle take longer than it should to get up to operating temperature. And that may be part of the problem. Now, also, Jamie did a little bit of research here real quick while we were talking, and she said there's been an issue with the primary culprit, faulty brake switch. Brake switch could be given a problem. Now, normally that wouldn't have to do with the vehicle getting warmed up. But one of the things I would do is make sure that that vehicle is getting up to operating temperature within a few minutes. Because if it's not, you'll have a lot worse problems in cruise control because the engine will tend to build up some gunk inside. If that part is good, I would have the vehicle scanned and find out if there's any trouble codes stored in there. The code that I'm concerned that you may have will have to do with the engine not reaching operating temperature as quickly as it should. And if that code's stored, that would affect the cruise control not coming in when it should. So the next step is to
sounds like
scan
another
the
trip
computer.
to C&C and Aiken for me.
Absolutely. We're glad to do that.
You guys did the engine clean and the transmission clean this year or last year, so now it's time to check another thing.
Fantastic.
But it's a great car. It's just a pain. I mean, I can't understand why cruise control wouldn't come on.
Yeah. And since Jamie found that other part, it may not, even if it's not related, it wouldn't hurt to get somebody to stand behind you or kind of back up to a wall and kind of make double sure that your brake lights are coming on, going off, coming on. Just do that several times just to make sure that switch, because they evidently did have some problems with that brake switch.
Well, with older vehicles, the vehicle's aging, all your switches and they have solder points on the inside.
Yeah.
Over time, that solder cracks, and it's like anything else; it expands and contracts with heat and cold.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's a good point.
yeah.
Very good
Yeah,
point.
that's what I was thinking.
All right.
Interestingly, guys, I don't come up to speed as quick as I used to either. That's why I drive old cars.
Yeah. Well, sounds good. Well, check that and check that brakes with the engine cold or with it cold with things not working, and that way you'll have an idea. And we appreciate your call very much.
Awesome, guys. Thanks.
Thank you. Okay, we are out of time, and this wraps up this week's C&C Auto Show. Thanks to co-host Jamie Bridges,
yes,
David Clark.
Yes, sir.
We want to give a big thank you to our show producers in there, Mason Rogers, Anna Lopez, Trip Clark. They're all in there making all the knobs work and all that good stuff.
The magic happen.
Yeah, and we'll pull over, but we will be back on the road. We'll pull it out of the garage next week, a shiny new C&C Auto Show. See you then.